What does a children's book from 1979 have to do with one of the biggest blockbuster books of our day and age? I'll give you a hint. It's not the smut. Thank you for joining us today at the Dad Book Club, where we compare children's books and review adult books so you can read alongside your child to learn the same lessons and themes that can start a conversation and make you both better readers for the future. We are building the next generation of readers, and it starts here today. That's right, today we are comparing the children's book by Jerry Smath's But No Elephants, originally published in 1979, with the blockbuster series by Sarah J. Maas, the first book of the series, A Court of Thorns and Roses, aka people call it ACOTAR. So ACOTAR is what we're going with. Both of these stories ask the exact same question. What happens when you finally let somebody in? We are going to start with Jerry Smath's But No Elephants for Your Child. This is a sweet little story about Grandma Tildy and how she used to take care of her home, and this man comes along and he says, "Hey, you want a pet?" And at first she says, "Sure, I'll take the canary bird. Tweet, tweet. You can sing to me while I make some soup." A couple days go by, she's loving the Tweety bird, and the pet guy comes back and he's bringing beavers and turtles and whatever. And every time she says, "Yes, I'll take that pet, but no elephants. I'll take the beaver, but no elephants. I'll take the Tweety bird, but no elephants." The days go on and continue, and all of the animals around Grandma Tildy find their place in the home and what they can help with. But all the while, we are watching our friend the elephant, now all alone, the only one that Grandma Tildy would not take in. One day, like the terrible man he is, the pet man says, "Hey, all I got left is the elephant, and I gotta head out of town." Grandma Tildy says, "No elephants. Sorry, can't handle the elephants." So, like the responsible business owner that he is, the pet man still leaves town, leaves the elephant right there on Grandma Tildy's doorstep. So he sits there, and the winter comes, and it snows and snows and snows, and the elephant is covered, and Grandma Tildy and all her other little pets are just watching the elephant, and then they start to feel bad. Finally, Grandma Tildy's like, "Fine, let's let the elephant in. He can't stay out in the snow." Of course, it can't be that easy. The elephant starts to create some chaos. He's eating all their canned food that they prep for the winter. He is destroying things. He falls through the floor. And Grandma Tildy's life is turned upside down. Until the moment where all the animals and her are like, "We're not going to make this winter. We're going to perish." Guess who turns it around? The elephant gets a grand idea, and he saves the day. I won't spoil it. Get it for your kid. For a kid's book, this lesson hits surprisingly hard, because you got the elephant who's been told that he's too big, too rowdy, too disruptive, too destructive. And you got everybody else, all the pets and Grandma Tildy in the house, full of warmth, full of belonging, and he's left outside all by himself, the only one not included. This teaches kids about exclusion. It teaches them exactly what unfairness looks like, and it teaches them that even though we look different and we act different and we are different, we all just want to be accepted. This book teaches us that sometimes the things that we fear most are the things that we need the most. Which brings us again to one of the biggest blown up books that I have seen in years. Now, me and my wife, we got 2 sets of this series so we could read it together in our own little book club. And she flew through it. I will admit, I'm stuck on book 4, but I did make it through ACOTAR. All right, and that's what we're talking about today. Before we dive in and you take my recommendation to read this book, just know that there are adult themes within this book that should maybe be 18 plus, but that's to your discretion. And you know what else is to your discretion? Hitting that like button right down below, the subscribe button right next to it, and then that little bell dingy thing right next to it to let you know when we post a video every time. And dads, I know you're sitting out there, what do you mean ACOTAR? Why should I read ACOTAR? Isn't that lady schmut? Yes, it is. It's about fairies and adult situations. But at its core, ACOTAR really focuses on belonging and the emotional walls that we put up around ourselves. We start with a girl named Feyre. In the world of humans, she is taught to fear the things that they call fae, which are like these fairy beings from this world that, like, you cross a wall barrier thing and then they're over there. So they're separate at this time. But they have magic over there. They have fairies over there. They have this entire other culture that Feyre has been told to fear for years. She's been told that they're dangerous, that they're the others, that we don't want to be a part of them. But one day she kills what she thinks is a wolf, and it spirals into revenge, where she is taken over to the world of the Fae. And as the story continues to unfold, the boundaries really start to go down. There's Tamlin, who is the main Fae that she is now living with, that she thought she'd be a prisoner, but she kind of has freedom to do whatever she wants for now. But listen, We're only talking about book 1 right now, okay? Ladies who are getting ahead of me. Underneath all of the fantasy, romance, and sex, and danger from Amaranda, this book is really about vulnerability and trust and sacrifice and learning to see the humanity in people that you've always been told to reject and hate. I think that's why this book resonates with so many readers, not just ladies, but men as well. You can read it. It's not a ladies' book. It's a book. It's not just a romantasy. It is about emotional transformation. And at the end, it also touched on the fact that learning how to read is super important. I won't tell you why. Read the book and you'll know why. Now I'm going to be completely transparent. This book, particularly, was not my favorite. I thought the writing wasn't very strong, and a lot of the plot points I kind of like predicted like 20 pages in. But that being said, the second book and the third book makes it a really good trilogy and really builds the world up. So I do recommend this, if not only to get to book 2 and book 3. That's what's so great about comparing adult books with children's books. The language evolves, the complexity evolves, but the emotional core of the story stays the same. In But No Elephants, we literally have walls that are keeping the outsider outside in the snow. And in ACOTAR, we do have a wall, but mostly a metaphorical wall of emotion and fear that keeps people at a distance. Once again, we have a book that teaches the lesson in simple terms, and then we have a book that takes that lesson and challenges it. And I know I say this all the time, but that is why reading matters so much, especially as parents. When we read with them, we're introducing new concepts: empathy, compassion, belonging, inclusion. We learn the foundation of these concepts through our child's books. And then our adult books bring it deeper and messier and more complex. And that's the bridge. That's how they talk to each other. This says simply, don't leave the elephant outside. And ACOTAR teaches that sometimes fear will keep us emotionally isolated. A tiny little picture book can speak the exact same emotional language as a massive fantasy novel. If you made it all the way through this video, I thank you. I hope you read a book tonight. And if you want, leave me a comment right down below. Have you read ACOTAR? Did you like ACOTAR? Am I right in my assumption that book 1 was but book 2 and 3 really make up for that fact? Do you have any recommendations about books that teach us about letting down our emotional walls? Leave that in a comment. And as always, parents, kids, I will see you in the next read.